Okay, I know I look really glowy, but I swear it's just sweat. Hi everybody, it's Lola. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am a 35-year-old transgender woman living in San Francisco, California. I came out in 2018 and I had facial feminization surgery in 2019 and I've been on hormones for a year and a half. I just wanted to talk about my hormones and give you an update. I haven't really done that before because I've just been kind of all over the place with my hormones, but I really wanted to talk to you about what's going on in my life because it's really, really important, and I just wanted to give you some information. So anything that I'm saying is just my own experience, my own opinions and feelings. I don't believe in self-medicating, so please talk to a doctor if you have any questions. It doesn't matter what dosage I'm on, it doesn't matter what I'm taking, so you really need to consult a doctor or an endocrinologist. I have been seeing a doctor for a while, since I started HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I would never self-medicate. So if I'm telling you something, it's just because I want to share my feelings with you. And if you have questions about it, I'm happy to answer more in depth, but I really don't want to go over things that that would influence you to self-medicate. That being said, I started seeing a doctor in San Francisco, and he didn't really have that much experience with trans women, and I was kind of dabbling in starting hormones in September 2018. So I was having a lot of emotional struggles. I suffer from severe depression, and I had been going through different types of therapy, specifically transcranial magnetic therapy, which is kind of electric shock therapy. It sounds kind of weird, but it's electric shock therapy. And I had to give myself a few months after the therapy to see how my stability was, my emotional stability. So it really took me a while to start hormones. So I did my TMS therapy in May, and then I started hormones in September. And with the hormones, I was on a testosterone blocker, kind of a low dose, and it was so insane. I had so much nausea, like, it was awful. I'd wake up every morning, I'd take my pills, and I would be so nauseous. Sometimes I would throw up, sometimes I would just feel dizzy, sometimes I would just like think I'm gonna throw up, but I never did because I like, let's say I didn't have anything in my system because it was so early in the morning. So I really struggled, and that happened for a long time. Honestly, that lasted a year. I increased my dosage of hormones, of my testosterone blockers, because I wanted to like continue with my feminization, and the nausea never went away. I didn't really have any understanding about it, and nor did the doctors, so I went to a specialist in San Francisco at one of the top hospitals in California. I went to a women's health specialist, and we kind of played with my hormones a little bit. I started taking estrogen, and the nausea kind of eventually went away, which was really weird. You would think that if I take more hormones, that I would have more of the side effects, but it kind of dissipated somehow. So I started a really low dosage of hormones, and it was really, really crazy. Because of my depression, the hormones kind of increased it. I had a little bit of anxiety, I had suicidal thoughts, I was very emotional, I was sad, I would cry randomly, I would get really angry out of nowhere, and then I would be really happy sometimes. So it was really, really all over the place. I really, really struggled, and I couldn't really find a balance. I'm also on antidepressants, so I had fiddled with that a little bit with my psychiatrist to kind of mitigate some of the symptoms of depression, and I changed my antidepressants as well, but the depression never really got better. So I had been suffering from depression since middle school, and I have tried so many different things back and forth, but I don't remember the depression being so debilitating, and part of that also was that I gained a lot of weight. Now, I'm a really small person. Before I started hormones, I was probably like 130 pounds. I was like kind of active, but not so much. Like I never really worked out regularly, but I would walk to work all the time. I didn't have like six-pack or muscles, but I was just kind of slender. I'm still pretty slender, but the strange thing was that my gut kept growing. It was really kind of disproportionate where my weight gain was happening. Yeah, my hips filled in a tiny bit, and so did my butt, and so did my breasts. I kind of had breasts before I started hormones, so it didn't really make a huge difference, but my nipples kind of changed as well. Like, there's two different types of fat, and I kept researching and realizing that I had visceral fat, which was when fat kind of surrounds your organs, and that is pretty common for testosterone to have that visceral fat. So it kind of tripped me out because I kept gaining weight, but it was only my belly. I would tell my doctor, and she really explained to me that you can't really gain weight from hormone therapy. So I was really not really sure what to do about it. I didn't really change my diet, so I really wanted to see what the hormones would do, but I had been getting blood tests and everything, and my hormones were still in the male range. So even though I wanted to feminize myself, my hormones never really transferred and went into the more female range. So I think that I kept gaining weight as a male as opposed to gaining weight as a female, and I wasn't really sure how to go about some of the changes. It kind of really depressed me. I gained probably 20 pounds. I kind of lost a lot of confidence, and it's really kind of problematic because a lot of times people associate femininity with being petite, and so I had a really big struggle with trying to embrace what my body was changing into, but also fighting with the changes. I'm not super hairy, but I do have hair in my torso and a little bit in my arms, so the hair kind of started growing a little bit slower, but it didn't really make that big of a difference. My skin got a little bit softer, but I started getting acne in my back. And I have keratosis pilaris, which is when your hair follicle and the pore becomes clogged and you get kind of raised redness and bumps on your skin. So I was hoping that would kind of get better with the hormones, but it never really got better. I kind of started getting this like weird acne on my back, which I had never had before. My sex drive was kind of all over the place. It would be like really, really high, where I'd be like super horny all the time, and I'd want to masturbate all the time, and then I would go like a week without wanting to touch myself. My skin did get a little bit better, and my anatomy changed. It shrank, but the sensitivity got really, really intense. So my orgasms got really, really intense, which I kind of enjoyed, and I kind of felt a little bit less crazy in the brain, like I had sperm in my brain. I kind of started separating the hormone sexuality from male to female, and I've been really into it. I'm okay with my anatomy. Some people have dysphoria about it, but and I'll kind of go into this in another video, but I can't really bottom, so I'm strictly a top, and I'll go into that in another video, but for health reasons I can't bottom. So a lot of my sexuality was around my genitals. It was kind of really tricky because I'm kind of like trying to relearn my body and trying to figure out really how I can embrace my body. But with the weight gain in my belly, kind of gave me more of like a beer belly. So I kind of felt like I was gaining weight like an older man, as opposed to like gaining weight in my hips and in my thighs. And it really, really has been tripping me out because of all the changes and because of my mental health, because of all of the anxiety that I was having and depression that I'm having, and the weight gain, and the acne. I decided to stop my estrogen. The thing is, my doctor's explaining to me that I can't just be on testosterone blockers because it would change my bone density. So I'm kind of at this like really weird place where either like I stay on hormones or I get off of them completely. And it's really messing with my brain. Like, I'm really not sure what to do. I really wish I had like some kind of gender trainer to help me kind of guide me to a better idea of how I want to proceed with the rest of my life. I'm kind of just at this weird point where I don't want to be on hormones anymore. So many people talk about the word transition, which really I think refers to having your hormones go from more testosterone to more estrogen. And people equivalent that with being trans. So I feel like I'm like, okay, like I don't necessarily want to be on hormones, but I still want to be female and be seen as a woman. So are people going to change their perspective on me once I'm off of hormones? And that's kind of where I'm like I'm kind of struggling with. And let me make this straight, that you do not have to be on hormones to be considered a woman. And that is just something that people want to do to feminize their features. But if I don't take hormones, that doesn't mean I'm not a woman. I can still be seen as feminine, I can still be seen as girly, and I don't need to be on hormones for that. That being said, I don't necessarily plan on having breast implants. I never really did. I kind of like the petite model look. And I do kind of struggle with other things. So, I mean, I'm still getting electrolysis and laser hair removal. I'm still growing my hair out. I still want to wear makeup. And I still want to wear wigs and dresses. And I still want to be a top. And I still want to try all these things to make me happy. It's just taking a long time to really understand where I want to be. So it's only been a couple days since I stopped taking estrogen, and I'm really not really sure what's gonna happen, but I'm just like kind of tripped out and just want to be honest about it, because I think people really associate women with hormones, or trans women with hormones, and that's kind of a misnomer. So I really want to find out how to see a different future for myself without trying to take hormones. Now, I don't know how long this is gonna last. I might change my mind. I feel like every day when I do research, I like kind of go back and forth between like, oh yeah, I should be on hormones, or like, no, I shouldn't be on hormones. So I kind of want to see another specialist to give me another opinion, so I can kind of better mitigate where my thought process is. But for now, I think I'm just gonna take a break. So I just wanted to be honest about what's going on. I just taking this day by day. I hope that my depression kind of gets a little bit better, and if it does, I might have to stop taking hormones. So I know everyone has a different reaction to hormones, but I'm also 35, taking hormones really late in life. I just really want to find peace in myself and acceptance in myself, and just kind of figure out different ways to do that without being on so much medication just to do that. So I'm gonna start working out. I have been with my mom over Skype, and I feel a little bit better with that. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see. I know, like, I want to get some kind of body contouring surgery, but the thing is, because I have what I think is called visceral fat in my belly, or fat around my organs, I can't necessarily have surgery to remove that fat. The only way I can get rid of that fat is through exercise. So I'm kind of just like, need to put my body in a better place, and then once I can have more control over my body, then maybe I can go on hormones a little bit later. But I know it takes a while, I know things change, and that's my update. I'm gonna do another video, and I have some other topics to talk about regarding coming out. It's just been really hard to film because I've been very emotional, but I want to share all of my experience and my past with you. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified of when I post new videos. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye.